Class, good evening once more. Tonight, we are going to continue from where we stopped. Yesterday, we started looking at various documents a project manager should produce within the life of a project. So within the full life cycle of a project, we have different uh, documentation. So we started yesterday looking at some of them, and we'll continue where we stopped yesterday. Yesterday we stopped at stakeholder analysis documents, and that is where we are going to start. Stakeholders are very important in a project. You start having problems in your project when you do not understand who is your stakeholder, and is a lot of time it happened that way. You just got hired through the HR gets you onboarded into the company and the project, and you start, and so many of us, you get confused because it was not the stakeholder or the project sponsor that hired you direct. You are hired through HR, hiring manager. So many a time they might not be able to introduce you to the right people. You just find yourself in a project. The next day you are given a job offer. The next time you see your work tools or equipment, laptop, everything delivered to your house if you are working remotely, or if you are working in the office, they will just go to the office. HR will take you to your desk where you'll be working. And if you are a project manager, maybe they will introduce you to a few people within the team you'll be working. But the people that really owns the project or sponsoring the project might not be there. So it becomes a problem when you start working in this a situation. So what do? You have to identify those stakeholders. You have to make sure that the proper stakeholders are identified. Not only identifying them, understand their expectation. And stakeholders' expectation in requirement changes. So they might even have given you a project brief. That project brief over time must have changed. The stakeholders might have changed their mind, wanted some requirements, and want some requirements to be removed. So, and that's why it's important to understand stakeholders. If you understand stakeholders very well, that is key to success in that project. The key, we call it, when you have their support, we call it stakeholder buy-in. You need to buy them in. Buying them in doesn't mean bribing them or giving them brown envelope. Buying them in is winning their support. So that's it. So we're going to have a big time to talk about stakeholder, because it is a key technique in getting your project done. So like for what we're doing now is to look at all the documents we need to produce. So after identifying all these documents, we have to look at various techniques where we'll have time to talk about all the techniques. So let's dive in and see what stakeholder analysis document looks like. And if we are fast, we can cover stakeholder analysis document and few other documents. Or if we are not, stakeholder analysis is a big area that I want us to, capture very well, because if you capture it very well, you are gonna win every project, no matter how difficult. Because if your stakeholders like you, they will make sure that nothing hurts you. They will teach you, they will guide you, they will protect you. Even at your absence, you see them talking good about you. Okay. So this is stakeholder analysis documents. So this document, with this document, when you identify stakeholders, it will help you to identify stakeholders expectation and their interests, and the role and communication strategies to manage these stakeholders over a period of time that the project is going to last. So that is it. Call it stakeholder analysis document. This is the role and involvement sheet or document. This first one is the role and involvement sheet. Call it role and involvement sheet. This document, all of them is put together, is called stakeholder analysis document. Then we'll have communication action plan. This particular document will help you to have a good communication, understand the way to communicate with the stakeholders. So this is just a picture I captured here, and I've got the main document which I will be teaching from the main template, which is here. I've got this in Excel document. So this is a role and involvement sheet. And if you come here, this is involvement planning. Then you come here again, you see communication action plan. This is a template that we are going to use. In so many companies I worked, they didn't have this kind of document. I go everywhere I go with my stakeholder analysis template. I will go there and I will introduce it to them, and they'll start using it. And most of the time they thank me, they love it. It's very good template, which I will leave behind for all of us to start using it within this our project, which I even encourage you. If you go out and the company will be working, they don't have good stakeholder analysis, but you can use this one and introduce it. So this is the Excel format. This is in Excel. Then I'll have it in Word document. So this is it in a Word document. See, this is role and involvement worksheet. And if I scroll down, this is involvement planning worksheet. And if I go down again, this is the communication action sheet. I equally have it in a slide. This is it in a slide. In slide, we'll have it here. This is role and involvement worksheet. But in slide, we'll have another document attached to it called stakeholder power grid. This is what we call stakeholder power grid. And then this is involvement planning worksheet. And this is communication action worksheet. So you can use any of them. Which one is better for you to use? You can use it. So let me start explaining this document, because the Excel document have got this three sub documents, 3 compartments, and the Word document have got the other 2 formats do not have this power grid. So I have to use this to explain instead of using, but they're all the same. So by the time I'll be making it available, maybe in our course portal or in our various projects we're going to manage, I'm going to make everything available for you to use free of charge. You don't need to stress yourself over that. So let's get started. This role and involvement worksheet will help you to identify stakeholders. It's very, very important. So the first thing is the stakeholder's name. You need to put stakeholder's name here. That is what you need to do. That is the first thing. Then here you need to put the stakeholder's position in the organization. For instance, let's say in Niara's platform that I, Charles, is the, let's say I'm the finance and accounts manager. I'm the HOD finance and accounts in Niara's platform. And I want us to implement, I hired you people to implement Dynamics 365 ERP Business Central. So in this project, if you want to capture me as a stakeholder, what you are going to do is you have to capture me as Mr. Charles under the stakeholder. That is my name. Then you come under the position in the organization, you capture me as the HOD finance. Then if you come to, let's say, this is going to be Charles, and here is going to be HOD finance. And then here is going to be my role in that project. That project is implementation of ERP. That is the project name, implementation of ERP for finance and accounts in Niara's. That is the project. So my role in that project will be different from my role in the organization. Now we've captured my role in the organization. So my role in the project, because I'm the person that is securing funding for this. Please, can you go for mute?
We have to supply 3 supermarkets. Let's supply some markets. Like tomorrow morning. Yes, probably.
So if I want to talk about my role in this project, because I'm the person, the stakeholder that is securing funding for this project, I am the project sponsor. So you have to capture me here as the project sponsor. I'm the project sponsor. Because I'm a project sponsor, what is going to be my this thing, my power here, I'm supposed to be a high power. We have high power, we have low power stakeholder. We have high interest, we have low interest stakeholder. So now I'm going to be captured. You need to capture me as a high power stakeholder. I'm not a low interest stakeholder because I'm the sponsor here. And then aware. Am I supposed to be aware of everything that is going on in this project? Yes, I'm supposed to be aware. The level of awareness, nothing should come to me as a surprise. And the level of interest, am I supposed to, what it should be my level of interest? My level of interest here should be high because I want this project to be a very big success, because I'm the person that if it goes bad, I will feel bad. So my interest is high. So the level of interest equally is going to be high. And then supportive. Am I supposed to be supporting you, the business analyst or whoever is managing or leading this project? Yes, you need my support. So the support is supposed to be supportive or high. Good. So these are things you need to capture about a stakeholder. After then, that is what it's supposed to be. But in most cases, it's not what it's supposed to be, that is what we are seeing. So if you are getting different answer from what it's supposed to be, then that it means your project is in a difficult situation, because you are getting different answer from what. That's why you need to capture them and monitor. That's what we call analysis. Analysis is analyzing, is it what it's supposed to be, or is it not what's supposed to be? What is happening? That's analysis. If it is not what it's supposed to be, then what am I supposed to do? You need to work towards making it to be what it's supposed to be before your project crash. So that is this. So this is how we are going to capture all the stakeholders, even the project team members, everybody. You capture them by their name, you capture them by their position in the organization, and you capture them by their project role. So you have to understand position in the organization is different from project role. From this, you can see that. So this is what this role and involvement, you see role and the level of involvement. How is this person involved in this project? Once you capture this, you can see it's giving you good insights about that project. You know where everybody is, what everybody can do and don't do. So to make this more clearer, or to show it in a visual diagram or background, you can apply this project, we call it power grid. Power grid here is that it helps us to look at the level of, we call it power and interest, not power and interest grid. That is what we call it. Because you see here, you see power, you see interest. Here we tell you the level of interest of the stakeholders, and here we tell you the level of powers. The upper one will tell you the stakeholders in higher or on top are the stakeholders with high power. You see high here and you see low here. Under these powers, this is high power, this is low power. So stakeholders with this within the high blocks are high power, and stakeholders within the lower block are the lower powered stakeholders. And then you see this interest. We see left and right. The stakeholders within the left is the low interest, and the stakeholders within the right is the high interest stakeholder. So these are how we are going to plot all these stakeholders here when we are trying to plot them. So for instance, if you want to plot them, you see high power, you can pick this one and come over here and see high power. And this you can say this high power is Charles and high interest. So all the stakeholders that got high power and got high interest, you drop them here. And then some stakeholders that have high power and low interest, you drop them here. So who are likely going to be stakeholders with high power and low interest. I will use our project as an example. Our project is this particular application called Miaras. So in Miaras, we're implementing an ERP. This ERP might involve a lot of data. We might be dealing with a customer data, a lot of data that is associated, and these are sensitive information. You can see we already started dealing with data of people, like even during verification, people need to submit sensitive information. So there are some bodies that will be regulating in terms of data protection. Some of them here, we call them GDPR, compliance agencies, or we have laws like GDPR regulations. We have data protection laws, global data protection laws. In every country as well, we have data protection law for specific or different countries. So these people, they try to protect people's data to make sure that you don't, misuse people's data. So if you are not complying, like every country will make sure that you are, these days, one of the things they test in your application, that is even Google Play Store, before it can be published, is making sure that is GDPR or data protection compliance. What does that mean? Is that you have access to your information, all the information in that application. And again, you can delete that a particular account of yours anytime you want. Like if you go to this Miaras, anytime you wake up and decide I don't want to be here, you don't just sign out and leave your account there. We have clear area where you can just go and delete that particular, so and nobody will have access to your information, all the pictures you've uploaded, everything, you delete all of them. So all the application will become, if they find out that your application is not compliant, they are not going to publish it. So we have regulation bodies for this situation. In construction industries or workplace environment, we have health and safety law, and we have health and safety officials. These kind of people, they are not interested in their project. For instance, they are building a house. In Nigeria, we don't use these people a lot, and that's why you can see a building will collapse and they won't talk nothing will happen about it. They won't even talk about it. Some people will just die in a construction house and nothing will happen. So, but here, no matter, even if you are constructing a little irrigation in your house, you must make sure that there is adequate health and safety in place. Any construction, you must get necessary permit. Before you can even dig a hole here, you must get a permit from the local authority. These are the people, they are stakeholders, they are external stakeholders with high power. This is what I'm trying to arrive here, to tell you that we have stakeholders that have high power, but they have low interest. They don't care about their project. That's what we mean by low interest. They have high power, but they have low interest. These are the kind of people you are going to be very careful about. This kind of people. Understand what the law says and give it to them, so you won't have. They don't hate you, but they don't like. Not that they don't like you. They don't care about you. They have a lot of, jobs, a lot of clients they want to go and regulate. So if they are regulating you, it's not like they hate you or they are taking it personally. They just want to do their job. So in order not to get in their way, do what they want. If you don't know what they want, they can shut your site down, or they can shut your application down and things like that. So, but people like this, they have high power and the high interest, like the project sponsor. Number one, with these people, they want this project to succeed. So they will do everything possible to support you, do everything to let you know what they want. On this kind of people, you need to be very, very transparent with them. Nothing should come to them as a surprise. This is their project. That you are a project manager and they say that you are the leader of that project should not enter your head and make you not to know that this project belongs to them. So nothing should come to them as a surprise. They will try everything to support you. But if you become stupid, all they need to do is fire you and get a replacement because that project belongs to them. So these are the people. So you have to be careful if you love your job. This is it. And these people, you have to be careful if you want your project to survive or to succeed. Or they will close your project and they will not even be sorry about it. They won't feel anything emotional about it. I've tried to clear the powerful people in the project. So you have to find a way to understand where a stakeholder belongs and drop them there. When you drop them, which chamber you drop them will determine the kind of approach, the kind of service, the kind of manner of communication you will use towards them. So when you understand this will determine the communication approach you are going to use. Then we'll come down to the lower people here, low-powered people. Everybody in the lower block are low-powered people. Low-powered people is that they are stakeholders, but they don't have any power to, stop that project. But they can do something that can hurt the project in a way if you don't monitor them. So all you need to do is, because they don't have power, doesn't mean that you will not, monitor them. This kind of people, we say that's why you see monitor. You see where I say monitor here. And these people I say engage. You need to engage them, give them what they want. Nothing should come to them as a surprise. And these people understand what the law says and give them what they are looking for. You need to understand the regulations. So these people we are monitoring, these are the low-powered people. They are low-powered, and you can see they don't have interest because they are not in the here. You see here is low, everything low here. Even interest here is low. Even power here is low. They don't have power and they don't have interest. What is their interest then if they don't have interest? Their interest is their daily pay. That is their interest. They are not interested in the success of these projects. They are interested that some of them every day they have a place they are going to work. They don't even understand. So many of them might not even understand what you people are doing there. For instance, you can see an electrician. You can see a plumber in this environment. You can even see a laborer here. For instance, an electrician or a plumber working in a building, if that project is meant to last for 6 months, their prayers will be that this project will last for 2 years. Why? Because they want constant, they want job. They want a steady job. That is their interest. So they can do anything possible to frustrate you, because some of them will feel that once they hear that this project has been, the project term has been increased, they will start rejoicing. But you, the project manager, you start crying because you know that your reputation is at stake. You have gone beyond your timeline. They have just agreed and extended because they want to complete this project. They don't want all the money they've invested to be in. But you know that your reputation is at stake as a project manager. But these people, they'll be rejoicing when they hear that this project timeline has been extended because they have a place to go to work. And they might do something stupid. In the construction site, so many of them will not do their work. They will always sneak out to go out and be smoking cigarettes. You know, they can go out for fag, we call it fag break for even 5 times in a day. They don't care. They will come, some of them are carpenters, they will come, they will do pa. And once they see you going away as the project manager, they will relax and start gossiping. They see you coming, they will say pa. These are people you need to monitor. That's why in some construction sites, they create site supervisors to monitor these people. Because you're a project manager, you might be so busy that you can't just be going around monitoring technicians. It's going to be too much for you. All these supervisors, we can equally call them project coordinators or project support officers or supervisors. These are people monitoring, helping you to monitor around. That's why you have a lot of them. Because so many of us might not even know the reason why you have a lot of foreman, supervisors, monitoring electricians, monitoring. You might, because they will need to be monitored. If you don't monitor them, I've been in that situation, you know. I used to work as an electrician's mate back in the days here. I used to work as a plumber's mate. You know, all we are there, we will be carrying ladder, doing this, following electricians, and we'll be there. They will say, Charles, hey, calm down. Forget these people. We'll be going somewhere, we'll just drink coffee, we'll go and do this. We won't do our job. Then I do not really know all those things very well. It's now I have to, you know, start, so I'm part of these naughty people in the site. So this is what these people do. You monitor them. Okay, that is it. If we come to software development, these people are developers, programmers. All these programmers, you are seeing them, like so many of them, you respect them. When you hear someone is programmer, when you hear someone is developer, you say, wow, they are doing the coding. Yeah, they are just like electricians. They are just like bricklayers. And what the bricklayers does in the construction industry, or in this is what the developers does in software development. So these developers, if you don't follow them around, for more especially, it's difficult to get a developer that work for companies full-time these days. You know, so most of the time we use freelancers to do the job. You sign up this, most of these freelancers, they can have up to 10 jobs at the same time. They will collect your job, they'll tell you, oh, Charles, no worries. Oh, I'll do it. Once you leave them, they'll just dump your project and go to another project. So they will be there where they are pressuring them most is where they are going to be there. You know, I've worked with so many of them. So you need to monitor them. If you have it, keep following them because you want that your application to be delivered at so time. So you have to monitor them. You have to do everything with them. You need to, that's what called monitoring those developers. Then we come to these people we call consider. These people, they don't have power. You can see they are at the lower chamber. So everybody at the lower chamber, they don't have power. These are them. Okay. And then these people, they have high interest in these projects, but they don't have power. High interest means they want to see this project a success. They want to see the outcome of this project. I'll give you a typical example of these people. In software implementation like ERP or CRM, people like this might be the people that will be using that ERP or CRM to do their work. For instance, if you go to account department, you might see some people called, maybe they are doing data entry. These are low-class people in account department. You can see people doing account payable, role. You can see people doing account delivery, receivable role. You can see people working on different ledgers within that ERP system once it's finished. And you people are using, let me say you are using an ERP called Sage, and you are migrating from Sage to Dynamics. They don't have, they are not familiar with Dynamics. So most of them will be anxious about this new technology that is coming in, they are going to use. They are anxious, they want to know more. They want to know, they need more, they will need information. So what they are looking is just for you to give more information about what's going on. So you have to consider them, their position, their role, and make information available to them the much you can. They will need training after this. So these are things you need to put into consideration. That's what I say consider. You need to put into consideration while implementing this. They need to be carried along. Though they don't have power to stop you, but mind you, they are the end users of this particular solution you are implementing. So you need to consider them. Okay, let's go to housing, environment, or construction. We have this kind of people, maybe are building a block of flats, and maybe some people, because here how they do it is even before they start building a residential building, people have paid their money, they've collected money from people. Potential residents, they pay, some of them pay mortgage. So these people, they are waiting anxiously for this house to be developed. They will be asking questions. They will go and look for project managers to be getting information. When is this house going to be ready? Maybe where they are paying rent, they don't want to pay rent again because they are planning to move to this new house. So there's a lot of information they need to plan for their new building or new stuff. So these people, you need to consider them. They are anxious. They need to make plans as well. So you consider them, whichever information you need to help them, you need to help them out. At times, they might cry out, and their cry can cause problem for you. So you cannot say you don't have power. Who are you? Did I collect the rent? Am I the one you paid? No. They might have connection. They might do something that can make you lose their job. So you have to consider them. So these are the people. So you can see how we can use this to do. What I'm doing now is stakeholder analysis. You see the way I've analyzed 4 groups of stakeholders with this particular power and interest grid. By the time you do this analysis, you understand every stakeholder very well. And then you come down to involvement planning worksheet. So now every stakeholder is here. Then you know every stakeholder, what are they? This is currently where they are. You ask yourself a question when you want to understand the healthy of your project in terms of your relationship with the stakeholders. You want to understand your relationship with every stakeholder, and then you have to then understand where there is gap and then bridge all those gaps. Looking at this is a stakeholder. Is the stakeholder aware of or unaware of what they are supposed to be aware? So you talk about aware or unaware. So the level of awareness, for instance, Charles, that is the project sponsor, is Charles aware of everything you are doing at the moment? Currently, if Charles is unaware, you have to tell yourself the truth if you want to have a healthy project and a healthy analysis. If Charles is not aware, you capture that Charles is not aware. If Charles is aware, you capture that Charles is aware. You cannot capture unaware. You cannot say yes and yes here. One, you must say yes here. Either you say yes here or you say no. If you say no here, then you have to say yes here. Then, level of interest. Are you receiving the commensurate interest or the level of interest you wanted in this project from Mr. Charles? If it's yes, then you have to state here. If you are not receiving the level of interest that Charles is supposed to demonstrate, for instance, you've yesterday you requested that you want to have a meeting with me, with your team, and I said okay. And throughout yesterday, I didn't get back to you. Tomorrow you say, okay, I want to have a meeting with, I tell you I'm busy. You know, I keep giving you attitude. That will show you that I'm not interested. I'm not, and I'm supposed to be interested. I will say no without any excuse. And then the level of support. If this situation has been, all this level of interest has been negative, then the supportive level of support should be negative as well. Or you want some things done and you are not getting it the way you want it, and you know that this is what it's supposed to be. So level of support is supportive. I'm not being supportive. You have to capture it here. So everything you capture here will become what you are supposed. This becomes, if everything here is negative, then in the current process, there is a big gap. The gap here is that you need to secure, you need to make sure that you are aware of everything you are doing, and you need to make sure that I'm interested, the level of interest I demonstrate is high, and you need to make sure that you enjoy high level of support from me. So this is desire. You are not there yet, desired. So this will help you to do gap analysis. Gap analysis, you perform gap analysis on the current process here, and then you work hard to make sure you close the gap within the desired stage. So that is what this particular involvement sheet will tell you or help you to do. So that's what you do in this document. Then you come down here. You must have been working hard, understanding them. Now, you have to tailor a communication strategy that will work for everybody. The communication strategy here is that these are different stakeholders we are working with. And the way you communicate with stakeholder A is not going to be the way you communicate with stakeholder B. Because these low-powered and low-interest stakeholders, the way you communicate them will not be the way you communicate with Mr. Charles, the project sponsor. These other people, you might be having regular meeting with them every day. That is communication, to understand what they are doing, monitor them, you know. That is communication. That is the low-powered people. But the high-powered people like Charles, you know that Charles is a big man in that company, and even the head of department. So that project of yours is one tiny thing that might be bothering Mr. Charles compared his position in the organization. So you trying to bombard Mr. Charles with a regular email in terms of communication can be irritating. So he might not want you to every time bombarding him with emails. And that will come up with maybe regular periodic updates, like what we call project status report. Maybe at the end of every week, you write a report and send it to him by email. If that's what you want, you need to understand. If it's a one-on-one meeting, you need to have a secure meeting, maybe once at the end of every week. maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, you discuss the project progress, and then discuss your challenges and various support you might be needing from him. So this is where you capture the communication. So here you capture the stakeholders' name, and then communication method. And then, for instance, say communication method here, you can say Charles, communication method, email, and who is communicating. You must decide in the project team who is doing that communication. Because a stakeholder does not want, some stakeholder does not want everybody communicating. In some cases, it might be a business analyst sending some report, but you as a project manager, you must make sure that the business analyst send that report. So that's why you have to be clear about, so that if a report is meant to be at Charles' desk by 12 noon on Friday, you must know who is submitting that report. You are the project manager, but it might be that everybody needs to submit their report. So you must know who is submitting. If it's you, or if it's a business analyst, or both of you, you need to communicate who is going to send that report. That is who. How often? Like I said, you must know when to send your report. That is communication. Not every day you'll be sending email to your key stakeholder like a project sponsor. So you can see here once every week. Some might want it twice, some might want it just once every 2 weeks. So you have to understand. So if the people you need to, maybe you need to talk to is on, their stakeholder is on phone, you capture their phone number here. If you say that the communication method is phone, you capture. If you say communication method is email, you capture the email. And after every communication, you must log your feedback here, what you got from the stakeholder. Like if you submit a report, weekly status report, you must know what the stakeholder says about that report. The stakeholder must say something. You know, either he's happy about your report or he's not happy, or areas he wants you to increase, maybe time, spend time this within this year. I don't want you people spending a lot of time here. You need to understand it. Maybe they don't have interest, or we have to change requirement. Maybe before I want us to include tips in this our social media platform, but now I think for now let us step down that feature for now, or things like that, you know. So you must capture feedback. So, and once that is done, that's what we call stakeholder analysis document. This is a document, and it's something you keep on updating as requirements are changing. You are updating your stakeholder. A stakeholder here might tomorrow leave. You can't say that stakeholder you've done your document is not static. It's a continuous. You use it for continuously managing the project. If a stakeholder leaves, maybe a developer got another job, like one of you are asking a question, a key project team member left. What will happen? Even somebody die will not make the project to die. Even if the project manager leaves, the project will still continue. So, but you must understand. So this is it. So if somebody leaves, you have to update it. Maybe the new person coming in, you need to update your list with the name and number of the new person, or highlight that this person has left. You might not even delete somebody who has left, so that you have a history of all the people that worked within that project. But you can just highlight, maybe have a red color, meaning that this stakeholder is no longer in existence or active. So that is it about stakeholder analysis. You know, I told you that this stakeholder analysis, I want to take time to explain it. And it has just like happened the way I said. So that is it. And this other document you see here, if you are using this particular document, this is Word document. The one I use to teach is the slide. We still have communication. We have role and involvement. We have involvement planning worksheet for gap analysis, and then we'll have communication action worksheet. What we don't have here is power grid. So whichever one, I don't use all these things, but it's good. If you are just learning, it's good for you to know. Like this is the one I most use most of the time because it's more scalable for me. You see it here. This is Excel sheet. So you see the one I'm scrolling it. So yeah, it gives me everything. Communication action. This is involvement planning, and this is role and involvement. So that's it. So this is where we are going to stop tonight. To be honest, we can't go beyond this because of time. But if you have understand this, we are still going to talk about. Just wanted us to have good view about stakeholders because I don't play with stakeholders. They are everything in project. So I wanted you to have a good view about stakeholders and know how to manage them. This is just stakeholder analysis document we are talking about. During the time we are going to be talking about techniques in project management, we are going to do more in-depth talk about stakeholder management and stakeholder analysis. But with this, I've set a good foundation for you to understand stakeholders very well in a project. So, like I said, I'm stopping here. And if you have questions, grab your question handy. I have another class by 8:30. So that's why I have to rush. So once it's 20 minutes past 8, I'll be leaving. So have Victoria Aishi.
Good evening, sir. My question was supposed to be on Naira, but you have already answered it. It was based on the monetization um process, and it's fine. You have answered it. So thank you very much, sir.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Ejikeme.
Hi, Mr. Charles. Good evening. Thank you. Okay, my question goes, does this also apply to a startup company, like a software development startup company that does not have any project supervisor or any project sponsor at the moment?
Doesn't have project sponsor. So if they don't have project sponsor, who owns the company then? A company is a company, and a project is a project. It doesn't have to be a company project. You know, it can be
Okay.
you. It can be you, even you, as is not a company and you want to handle a project. So, like you can decide to employ people if you are rich enough to handle your wedding as a project. So a project is a project, and analysis should apply to every project. Stakeholder analysis. So that is it, because I will use wedding planning projects. You must have to understand the stakeholders. So if you are going there to capture requirements, and if you don't understand the stakeholder, if you go to the house, you might go and you capture just requirement from the husband, maybe because you feel he's the one, and the wife is not there. If you are very smart, if you know that the wife is there, the wife can influence the husband to sack you, but you don't know what you are doing. So these are stakeholders, and
Okay,
you
sir.
get a big wedding, and you lose that contract. So it's got nothing to do with company. Project has nothing to do with company. Understand projects. We're talking about projects. We're not talking about organization. It can be in a house. You are a teacher. You can get a project as a home teacher to go and teach some children in a house. You go there, we'll have father, we'll have mother, we'll have maybe house help and the children. If you don't know the stakeholders very well, those children can influence their parents not to give you, they say they don't like you the way you talk to them. And it ends that you lose that contract. So you know how to, these are stakeholders. You are the teacher, you are the project manager. And you see the children you are going to teach, you think they don't have say. They have say. These are big stakeholders as well, because they can say they don't like you, and their parents will listen to them. So the point I'm making here based on startup, it has nothing to do with startup. As a matter of fact, startup is a big company. This our Niara app is a startup company, but it's a big company. So I don't know what you fantasize. Startup is big. Most of the companies, all of you are working, America, they're all startups. Big of the startup companies, All right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. We have Ade Doyin Talabi.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. Charles, and good function.
I can't hear you, madam.
How do you
Okay. We lost Adedoyin. Tarela Freeman. I think Tarela is not here. We have Hope Ada.
Sorry, I'm here.
So are you waiting for us to?
Small glitch. I wasn't hearing you, sir. I didn't hear.
Okay.
Just came in. Okay. So good evening, everybody. Good evening, sir, and thank you for the lecture. I wanted to just get some clarity between.
Please be a bit audible.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to get some clarity between the highs, which is understanding, and the engage. I didn't really get just the difference between them.
Between what?
The
Between
two
hide
highs.
and engage.
Yes, the stakeholders analysis between the high and the engage. The
Higher
understand
and
and
engage.
engage, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
The difference.
Engage, what those areas say, I say, in those areas, they say understand. I say you have to understand what those stakeholders want. Try to understand more, especially so many of them are coming. I use law enforcement like health and safety, data regulation agencies. I say understand the law. Try to understand what the law says. That's where understand the requirement, what they need, and give it to them. And I said, once you give it to them, you don't need to be calling them all the time throughout the life cycle of the project. Just understand what they need and give it to them. Try to be compliant, and that is it. If there is any regulatory compliance or law or this thing, do it, and that's it. There's no need of calling health and safety officer all the time because you want to, carry them along. They don't need that. You are bugging them, and they don't even know you. They don't want that. Understand what the law says. Make sure your environment, if you are developing application, make sure that application is GDPR compliance. If you are building a house or managing a construction site, make sure that the construction site is health and safety compliance. Make sure you have fire safety. Make sure all the fire safety are, because some fire safety and fire extinguishers are expired. Make sure that they are not expired. Make sure you have the adequate insurance covering all the people working within the site. These are what you need. Understand the regulation, the requirement, and put it in place. There are no need. Once you have everything in check, don't call them. That's all they want. Okay, engage here means that these people, I said nothing should come to them as a surprise. So you constantly need to engage them throughout the life cycle of that project. From the beginning to the closure, you need to keep them engaged with your activities. If what you people agreed is on weekly reports, don't miss it. They must receive that weekly report at the appropriate time. Is that clear?
It's clear, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And we'll talk to Ada and I'll call it tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Good evening.
Okay, you made mention that the stakeholders' goal can change at any time. They can change the purpose of the project or the goal they want to achieve for the project. So what I'm asking is, if they eventually change their goal, as a project manager, am I going to change my goal on the project chart because I stated it on the project chart from the beginning, the purpose of the project? Am I going to change it as the stakeholders changes their goal?
Not goal. My goal, when the goal change means that I said some requirements might change. Like if they change the goal or the whole goal of the objective, it means that the project has come to an end. They want that project terminated. But there might be changes of requirements. Maybe if they are building, like I said, I would like people to quote what I said. When you are trying to, I said, if you are building something, they might say, we don't want this particular feature again, or we might want it this way. That really doesn't change the whole goal. They just want a few changes in that project, and that is a requirement. Yes, you need to update your documents. I said all the documents in projects, they are not static, meaning that is a continuous update. Everything that changes, you need to update other documents. Project charter is not, once the project charter doesn't mean that everything there will be static. It cannot be static. Things can change. If it's static, why will you at some point in project extend the timeline? Because the project charter has captured the timeline and say it's going to start and end this date. And project charter have captured the budget, and you at some point you will go and require for some budget. Why would you do that? So all you need to do is do all those things with the required documentation. When there is changes, we are coming to that, we have change, project change. There's a document you need to capture change in an ongoing project. Use it to assess the impact of that change in that project and communicate that impact to the stakeholder that are requesting that change. And make sure that every change, if the changes are attracting more budget or extension of timeline, capture it. Once they approve it, you do what they want. As simple.
All right, sir.
All right. So, for some of us raising hands, like I said, I've got other people to talk to by 8:30, and you can drop your comments at the platform, and I will respond to it. And yeah, and for other things like our application, where you are demanding for clarity and other things, we are coming to that. So yeah. So thank you, people. Now I have to leave.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Have a good